Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. One can fully understand the frustration of people when it comes to the huge amount of differences that we find amongst the Ummah. There's practically no organization or institution or body that is free from this question of having differences amongst themselves. So the question comes about, we've got one Quraan Kareem, we've got one Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, we've got one qibla, we've got one Kaaba Sharif, we have one article of faith, we all recite the testament, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And we have one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then why do we have so much differences? It's not a difficult question to answer. We have one parliament, we have one constitution, we have one president, we have one country, we have one flag. Why is there so much differences amongst politicians, amongst lawyers, advocates, amongst the public? After all, the law is one. People vote for it. Why is it they go to the, starting from perhaps the regional court, going to the high court, thereafter appealing, going to the appeal court in Bloemfontein, thereafter they go to the Supreme Court. So much money they spend and so much bickering and backbiting and slandering and spinning, etc. Why is it that that happens? Just as you have an answer for this question, there is similarly an answer for the question when it comes to our deen. The answer is what? Differences of interpretation. The law is one, but one law can have different interpretations. You just have to change one word, and another interpretation can be offered. So, and then even in a constitutional court, 9 judges, 5 versus 4, meaning 5 judges are in favor of something, 4 are having a difference of opinion, and we are going to have to follow the majority. This is as per the constitution of the country. Similarly, in deen is one ayat of the Quraan Kareem. People will have differences of opinion concerning that ayat. There is one Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. People will have differences of opinion concerning something that he had done which appears to be conflicting. Like the question, for instance, of Rafa Yadain in Salah after Ruku. There was a certain period when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to lift both his hands as if he was making takbir. And then he would go into ruku. Some Sahaba saw this here, they adopted it. Perhaps they left Medina Munawwara, perhaps they went on journey. They never saw the other part. And what is the other part? That it close towards the ending of his life, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam left this particular lifting of hands out from his salah. And various Sahaba narrated, we never saw him doing it thereafter. So here you have a real conflict now. Others says, but we saw him. The other says, no, we haven't seen him. Now remember, we're speaking about a time when there was no technology as what is today. Those that went and they propagated the Salah with Rafa Yadain, they passed it on to the students, on to the people who came to meet them. And those that saw the abandonment of Rafa Yadain, accordingly they took forward the manner of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to their students in the community. Such differences are known as a mercy. Ikhtilafu ummati rahmatun aw kama qala alayhi salatu wassalam. You'll never ever find, how do we know it's a mercy? Where there's no mercy, what is there? Violence, bloodshed, fights, wars, breaking of family ties, etc. There's no mercy. You never ever can say in the history of Islam, you must know the four madhahib are in existence for the last almost 14 centuries. After Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was passed away in the year 8 years after Hijri, the Imams started making their appearances. The four major Imams known as Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi, Imam Malik, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahmatullah. You cannot cite a single instance that there was a war between the Hanafis and the Shafis, or the Malikis and Hanafis, the Hanbalis and the Malikis. Not a single bullet, sword, arrow was used in order to impose one's views. So much so, until the Saudi House of Saud took over, by the Baytullah, there were 4 different directions facing the qibla. The Hanafis had adopted a certain place, the Malikis, the Hanbalis and the Shafis each took one direction of the wall of the Mubarak wall, and they would teach the students facing that particular wall. No problem whatsoever. That's called now ikhtilaf, that has got mercy. Lots of mercy in it. But you can't jump from one mazhab to the other one. Why? What is deen? Deen means that you must submit, we must submit ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command. Now, how the president issues a decree, it's a command, there's differences of opinion. These 4 Imams, we're not speaking about like the Imams up here standing in our masjid. We're speaking about mountains of knowledge and oceans of taqwa they had. Allah Ta'ala chose them to funnel the deen in 4 different avenues. But you keep to one. You are not going to be allowed to say, well, according to Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayh, it is permissible to touch the wife's hand, your wuzu don't break. According to another Imam, your wuzu is going to break. So, well, in this part I follow Imam Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayh. In the other part I follow, now you are choosing, you are worshipping your comfort and your convenience. Thus, there's a great possibility for anyone who has left a madhab due to convenience that he or she could lose the iman, because they use the deen as a means of convenience, not as a means of submission. This is the one answer. The second answer is, now within you find our rings in South Africa and everywhere in the world, it's the same thing. This ulama says this here and that ulama says that. Our Mullah Masihullah gave a brilliant answer. This is the Quran Sharif has given us. The solution is who to follow. Ittabi'u man la yas'alukum ajraw wa hum muhtadun. You can't be a follower and a leader at the same time. You can't say, but you know what, I studied hadith, I got Bukhari, I read Bukhari, and I googled and I found this hadith. Now you know more a follower. Now you want to be followed. This is what I understand. In order to understand the Quranic Kareem, the hadith, the inner workings and mechanism of the Sharia, you need so much time. A lifetime is also less. One has to be superbly qualified in various branches of knowledge, from Nahu, Sarf, Lughat, Ilm Kalam, and the usul of hadith, the usul of Quranic Kareem, the usul of fiqh. You have to study the principles. Remember, our deen is based on a solid foundation. So solid that 1400 years of perpetual and continuous attempts to break down the walls, the fort of this deen, have hopelessly failed. They tried everything. They infiltrated the ranks of the ulama. They've put up their own. Nabis also, Ghulam Ahmad Qadian, they promoted him, the British, as a Nabi, in order to destroy the concept of Risala in our deen. But all of them flopped. Why Allah Ta'ala promised He's going to sustain and maintain and protect His deen. What does this ayat mean? Ittabi'u. Allah Ta'ala says, quotes the words of Habib al-Najjar, who was a carpenter, simple carpenter. And at that particular age and era, two Anbiya were sent, and the people made a mockery out of them, and they denied their mission. فَعَزَّزْنَا بِثَالِثٍ. A third one was sent, and he came and he explained to the people, listen here, these two are Anbiya, and the people confronted them. Their confrontation was infinitely worse than what today's confrontation is. They unsheathed their swords in order to kill them. Why would they want to kill such innocent people? Because they would lose the three huge benefits that they already enjoyed to a large extent. One, wealth. Two, name and fame. Three, the love of the dunya. Once you become powerful, we have all this here. You've got a lot of wealth, money. You've got a lot of name, too. And lovely, and as far as the dunya is concerned, you've got plenty access to every corner of the country. You've got access to politicians and to king and to the sultanate, and you are a decision maker, you are opinion former. All this was just going to evaporate, and the nafs were already addicted to this here. Now once one becomes addicted to these three things, this addiction is infinitely worse than the addiction of any drug that you can find. A druggie, at the end of the day, he will understand, you know what, he'll say also, you know what, make dua when I come right, I'm going to try, I'll go back to it. But this three, if it's not treated, these three sicknesses, and it can come to anyone at any time, there's no guarantee it can come to anyone. You can be infected with the viruses of these three sicknesses. This sicknesses grow, fi qulubi maradun fazadahumullah marada. This increase, it just increase. At the end, you're prepared to kill for power. What's happening in the world? They kill, they bomb children, they bomb innocent, they bomb the old, they bomb hospitals, they bomb the clinics, they bomb the water supply, they bomb the sanitation, everything they bomb. Unmindful, where are the people going to eat and drink? Islam don't permit this type of wars. Islam is a very pure religion. So it's important to understand, Habib al-Najjar was a simple carpenter. He had brought Iman. He ran from the outskirts, which are Qaswal Madinati. From the outskirts of the town, he heard about what the big commotion and that is on in the middle of town. He ran to them and he told the people, "Ittabi'u man la yas'alukum ajra wa muhtadun." Oh people, wait, listen to me. You want to know whether you must follow them or not? Yes. See, as they have to ask you for any recompensation, any money, directly, indirectly. Nowadays, the shaitan works in very subtle forms. They get what they can call, they need some money and say, Isali Sawab. Sponsor Isali Sawab for your father. Contribute 500 rand or whatever it may be. We'll make one khatam. We'll announce it all in one on the radio. Your father will get a thawab. Now this year you are ambushing people. You want to, the person wants to, he makes his own khatam. Foreigners, he gives money. And they will broadcast the name. And our nafs is so weak and so impure. The moment we hear somebody taking our names, our ears jump to attention. Oh, my name, oh, my grandfather made Isali Sawab. That is only going to be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is sincere and only for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Habib al-Najjar told him, don't follow anyone. Where you see money, come for making having a bride party. Now 2,000 rand a plate. We need to build a masjid. We need to run a madrasa. Did Nabi Sallallahu ever resort to such type of accumulation of funds? Never. They could have made meals also. They could have had activities also. Nothing. For the sake of Allah, only wants for serve lillah. Who wants to give, let them give. So first condition, who you follow it, they're not interested in your money. Second, wahum muhtadun, they must have hidayat and guidance. This inshallah we'll speak again. Inshallah.